Greetings everybody and welcome to Madrid Ball. I hope you all are doing good and how crazy the past 2 days have been for European football. Despite all the attempts of Mr. Perez, in the end, the project to print money was bound to fail, and this time the fans have shown their power. They have raised their voice and they have showed that football belongs to the fans. So in this video we will talk a bit more about the Super League and how the teams have reacted. We'll also do the match preview of Real Madrid versus Cadiz, because keeping this drama aside, we have to keep our title hopes alive. So let's get started. First things first, let's talk about the Super League. Yesterday was a very action-packed day for European football, and the fans emerged as the hero of the drama. We saw a very powerful uprising in England. We saw Pep Guardiola Klopp coming out to speak against the Super League, and then it was just a matter of time for the fans to take charge of proceedings. As you see here, the people gathered in huge numbers detesting the involvement of the clubs in the Super League, and then one by one, all the teams from England succumbed to the pressure. You can see these are the official statements from the 6 English clubs involved, and this compelled the Super League to come out with a statement of their own which suspended the current plans. They said despite the announced departure of the English clubs who were forced to take such decision due to the pressure put on them, we are convinced our proposal is fully aligned with the European laws and regulations. They further said given the current circumstances, we should reconsider the most appropriate steps to reshape the project, always having in mind our goal of offering the fans the best experience possible while enhancing solidarity payments for the entire football community. And talking about this, I always felt this was not going to go through because obviously, first it wasn't fair, but more importantly, there was so much information gap when it came to the competition. How exactly the things were going to work, how the rest of the teams would be invited, I personally thought that the proposal lacked structure. We know ethically as well it was wrong that some clubs were at a more privileged position in the Super League, and as Pep Guardiola rightly said, sport is not a sport when the relationship between effort and success does not exist. It is not a sport if you can't lose. It is not fair if the teams fight to get to the top and success is only guaranteed for some. And this is exactly what we discussed yesterday. For the competition to be working properly, for the competition to succeed, you need clubs to have an equal footing. You need to earn your place in the competition, and this haphazard decision making by these 12 clubs was a complete failure. And yes, we see a lot of the people out there criticizing Mr. Perez and some chiefs trying to hide behind Perez to escape criticism, but it was a wrong strategy to make money. And if we are to find any silver lining from all of this mess, we can see UEFA and FIFA, these organizations are going to be more alert from now on. You talk about how they have been manhandling things, there have been accusations of corruption, you talk about the controversy related to the next FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The clubs are seeing this and they want reforms as well. We are already seeing that UEFA has been working to inject more money in the competition, the lack of which was a primary concern for the clubs. So let's see what will be the consequences of this coup. There are suggestions that Mr. Perez has been subjected to immense pressure to resign from his post. Andrea Agnelli as well resigned from the post of Juventus chief. So let's see how this develops. For the moment, we haven't heard about the resignation of Florentino Perez from any credible source, but what we can say is that we will be seeing some changes in football very soon. When these big clubs are asking for changes, then surely some significant changes will be seen in the near future. So that wraps up the short spell of the Super League, and now we move on to do the match preview of Real Madrid versus Cadiz. And if you remember, this is one of the clubs who took 3 points away that too early on in the season, and that is why it is time for some vengeance. The match will be played at the Estadio Ramon de Carranza, and the referee appointed for this encounter will be Mateo Laho. If we talk about Cadiz, they are currently in the 13th position. They have 36 points from 31 games, and if we have a look at the form, they have 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss in the last 5 matches. Now talking more about Cadiz, they have had a decent season in the Spanish top flight. At times in the season, they have stayed in the top half of the table, and they have got some good results against big sides as well. Against Barcelona, they have got a win and a draw in 2 occasions that they have met this season. So we must get our focus back. Obviously, the Super League will have caused some distraction, but we have to pull up our socks and get ready for business again. As for Cadiz, I won't at all be surprised to see Cadiz line up with the 4-4-2, having 2 backs of 4 to contain the attack of Real Madrid. Alex Fernandez, the brother of Nacho Fernandez, he had a pretty stellar game last time round, but he would be missing out this time. And if we talk about Real Madrid, the return of Carvajal and Varane gives Zidane some much needed boost, but in the middle, Zidane has some major absentees. Kroos, Modric, Valverde, all 3 of them would not be participating in this match, and this is the challenge for Zidane once again. What will he do here? Will Arribas be provided an opportunity to start along with Isco and Casemiro, or will we see the 4 strikers up front once again? Eden Hazard as well misses out. There were suggestions earlier that he would be returning against Cadiz, but Real Madrid are not willing to take any risk whatsoever with Eden Hazard. So these absentees, as we see again, have made the game a bit complicated for Madrid. It will be a difficult match and we have to get over the line by some way or the other. Moving on, let's hear what Zidane had to say in his pre-match press conference previewing the match. He said, "Our motivation is the same, there's not long left until the end of the season and we are going to give it our all. We know it will be a tough game because these teams defend very well and they are playing at home. We are going to go after the game and try to take the 3 points as ever." He further went on to say, "We have been competing for 8 months and all sorts of things have happened. They wanted me out, they said the players were past it, but the key thing is that we are still alive, competing, and that's what we like. There's 1 month to go and we are going to fight until the final day. We won't let our heads drop, I can guarantee that." Then it was almost certain that Zidane would be asked questions regarding the Super League. He was asked for his opinion on the Super League, but Zidane refrained from answering that, as he said, "This is a matter for the president. I'm here to talk about tomorrow's match. Everyone has an opinion, but I'm not here to talk about that. You can say Zidane sits on the fence, but my job is the day-to-day and the next match. I could give you an opinion, but it won't make a difference. For me, it's all about Cadiz." Then Zidane was asked if the players would be pushing the limit in this game. If you remember, in the previous game, Zidane had said that the players were at the physical limit. So to this question, Zidane replied, "We don't know if we are going to win or lose, but the key thing is the strength, the hard work, and we are going to do everything we can. We are motivated by the competition. We talked about being at the limit the other day, but we are going to exceed limits. When you get to that point, you can do more every day, and that's what we'll try to do." Lastly, Zidane was asked about the potential signing of Kylian Mbappe. Florentin Perez, in his recent interview with El Chiringuito, had asked the fans not to worry about Mbappe joining Madrid, to which Zidane responded, "If the president mentioned it, that's fine. We are only thinking about tomorrow's match, and that's the truth. That's what motivates us because we can control what goes on and out of the pitch." So those are the words of Zinedine Zidane, and let's move on to do the match predictions. In the backline, Zidane has informed us that Varane and Carvajal are ready to go, so they may be getting a start, which would mean that Militao may be back to the bench, unless we play with 3 centre-back formation. It would be a bit harsh on Militao because he has been in superb form in the absence of Varane, so it will be difficult to predict this one, but I predict Marcelo and Carvajal as the wing-backs, along with Nacho, Militao and Varane forming the backline. In the midfield as well, Zidane has some big selection headaches. In the midfield, we can have Casemiro and Isco, and up front, we can have Benzema, Asensio, and Vinicius Jr. Vinicius hasn't received much rest in the past few games, so a rest for him, and Rodrigo replacing him in the lineup, that is also possible. There's also a chance that just like the previous game, we will have 4 attackers on the pitch, so let's see how that works out. And as for my scoreline predictions, I predict Real Madrid 2, Cadiz 0, and that is all I have in this video. Do let me know your thoughts regarding the topics that have been discussed in this video, and of course, don't forget to put in your match predictions. I'll see you soon. Till then, take care, glory to Madrid, and as always, a la Madrid.